Do you ever feel like your dog has hidden meanings behind everything they do? Like, why do they always lick your hands the second you sit down? You think it is just affection, but it is completely not what you think. And why do they stretch right when they see you? You think it is just a cute hello, but it is much more than that. In this video, you will discover what these behaviors truly mean. Now, let's start with why your dog sleeps on their back with their legs in the air. It looks ridiculous. Right. But that silly pose is actually your dog's way of saying they feel completely safe around you. Dogs only expose their belly when they fully trust their environment, because their belly is the most vulnerable part of their body. It also helps them cool down fast, since the fur is thinner there and the blood vessels are closer to the skin. So if your dog is sprawled out like a fallen superhero on your couch, take that as a compliment. Some dogs do it more than others, especially breeds with thicker coats that heat up quickly. Your dog is not being weird. They are being completely comfortable, and that is a big deal. Another behavior that might make you do a double take is the head shake. Your dog is not just being dramatic, even though they are kind of good at it. Dogs shake their heads to clear their ears of anything that feels off, like water, dirt, or debris stuck inside. Their ear canal is shaped like an L, which makes it really hard for stuff to work its way out naturally. So shaking is basically their built-in drainage system. If your dog shakes their head once or twice after a bath, totally normal. But if they are doing it over and over throughout the day, that could mean an ear infection or ear mites are setting up shop in there. Keep an eye on that, because the sooner you catch it, the easier it is to treat. Then there's this thing dogs do that drives a lot of owners crazy: barking at other dogs. Your dog is not just being rude, even though it can feel that way when you are on a walk and they lose their mind at a golden retriever across the street. Dogs bark at other dogs mainly to communicate, and what they are saying depends a lot on their body language. A dog with a loose, wiggly body is saying, "Hey, let's play," while a stiff posture and a sharp bark is more like, "Back off." Some dogs bark out of excitement, and some bark out of fear or frustration, especially if they are on a leash and feel trapped. That leash actually makes the situation worse because it blocks your dog from doing what they naturally want to do, which is either greet or retreat. The more often your dog gets to socialize calmly with other dogs, the less reactive they tend to become over time. Now, let's talk about why your dog stretches right when they see you. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs use specific body language to communicate intentionally with the people they are bonded to. That stretch is not just a hello. It is actually your dog's way of showing you deep emotional attachment and relief that you are back. Your dog's body is literally releasing built-up tension from missing you, and that stretch is how that emotion comes out. It is also a signal that your dog feels completely safe and happy in your presence, not just excited to see a familiar face. So that big dramatic stretch is not about waking up their muscles. It is about you specifically, and the way your dog feels about you. That is honestly way more than a simple greeting. Most dog owners never realize that. Another thing dogs do that people find kind of gross is licking each other's ears. You have probably seen two dogs go at it and thought, why would anyone enjoy that? But this behavior is actually a strong bonding ritual. Dogs lick each other's ears as a form of social grooming, which is something pack animals do to build trust and show care. The ears are a hard-to-reach spot, so letting another dog lick them is a sign of total trust. It also helps keep the ears clean, which sounds helpful until it goes on for too long and causes moisture buildup. Too much ear licking between dogs can actually lead to yeast infections in the dog on the receiving end. So a little mutual grooming is sweet, but if one dog is obsessively licking the other's ears every day, it is worth keeping an eye on. Here's one that seems so simple you probably never even questioned it: your dog's wet nose. According to a study from the journal Scientific Reports, dogs have a thin layer of mucus on their nose that actually helps them absorb scent chemicals, making their sense of smell dramatically more effective. So that wet nose is not just random, it is a tool. Dogs also lick their noses regularly to sample those scent particles and send them to a special receptor in the roof of their mouth. A wet nose helps your dog build a clearer picture of the world around them than their eyes ever could. If your dog's nose is dry and cracked, it could point to dehydration or a skin condition worth checking out. A little moisture means their scent detection system is running at full power. Another thing you have probably caught your dog doing is licking the air, just randomly, like there is an invisible snack floating in front of them. It looks strange, but it usually means one of a few things. Sometimes dogs lick the air because they smell something interesting and are trying to get a better read on it, using that same scent transferring trick their tongue is built for. Other times it is a sign of nausea, and your dog is trying to manage that uncomfortable feeling before it turns into something messier on your carpet. It can also be a calming signal, something dogs do when they feel a little stressed or overwhelmed. If your dog does it once in a while, it is usually nothing to worry about. But if it is happening constantly and paired with gulping or grass eating, it is worth a vet visit to rule out acid reflux or stomach issues. Then there is this funny thing that happens when dogs play. They sneeze. You and your dog are wrestling around, things are getting rowdy, and then out of nowhere, your dog sneezes right in your face. Charming. But that sneeze is actually a really good sign. Dogs sneeze during play as a way to signal, I am just messing around. This is not real. It is basically a reset button that tells the other dog or person not to take things too seriously. It keeps play from escalating into something that looks or feels like an actual fight. Some dogs sneeze way more than others during play, and the more comfortable your dog is, the more likely they are to throw in a sneeze or two. So next time your dog sneezes mid-tug of war, they are not getting sick, they are just keeping the vibe light. Now, let's talk about hot spots, because if your dog has ever had one, you know how fast they show up and how bad they look. A hot spot is a raw, moist patch of skin that forms when your dog licks or scratches the same spot repeatedly. Research published in Veterinary Dermatology links hot spots most commonly to allergies, insect bites, or moisture trapped under thick coats. Your dog is not making things worse on purpose, they just cannot ignore the itch. The problem is, the more they lick, the faster it spreads. Catching it early and keeping the area dry makes a real difference, but if it keeps growing, your vet can prescribe something to break the cycle fast. And finally, why does your dog lick your hands? You have always thought it was just them being sweet, but it is so much more layered than that. When your dog licks your hands, they are picking up a ton of information from your skin, like your mood, where you have been, and even what you ate. Your skin carries sweat and trace scents that tell your dog a whole story about your day. Licking is also a behavior that goes back to puppyhood, when pups would lick their mom's face to ask for food and comfort. So when your dog licks your hands, part of that is them saying, you are safe, you are mine, and I trust you completely. It is also a way they show submission and affection at the same time. Your dog is not just being slobbery, they are speaking their own language, and now you actually understand what they are saying. You now know what your dog has been trying to tell you this whole time. But here's the thing. Understanding your dog means nothing if they cannot feel your love coming back their way. So jump into our next video and discover 12 easy ways to show your dog you love them in a language they truly get. Do this right, and you will build a bond with your dog that most owners never even come close to having.